Why I can finally cancel my American Express Gold Card. Now, before I get started with this video, I want to preface this whole thing with yes, the Gold Card is still worth it for a lot of folks. Yes, the Gold Card is still one of the best cards and likely the best earner on the credit card market for a lot of folks. So this is in no way bashing the Gold Card. This is me explaining why it's time for me to move on from the Gold Card, much like I'm moving on from the American Express Platinum Card. Sometimes there's a better way, and I want to explain why my way in the future doesn't include the American Express high annual fee cards. But first, some backstory. I've been a huge Amex fanboy for a lot of years. Amex has helped me out of several jams. I've enjoyed retention bonuses, lots of referral points. I've optimized most of the obscure benefits, well, besides the Equinox gym credit. That's never going to happen. But this is not to say that Amex isn't sitting atop the mountain of credit card issuers for a lot of folks. They are. This is a tale of how things have changed, at least for me. Now, I don't need to review the Gold Card because there are plenty of videos on YouTube for that. And hey, I have several on my channel. But it's fairly simple. The card earns 4 times Amex MR points on dining and groceries. It's that simple, folks. It earns. For me, it out-earns any card out there. On the flip side, the card has a $250 annual fee and $240 in credits that could, in theory, help offset that fee. Amex customer service is generally regarded as the best in the business. And hey, we could even include Amex offers because there is plenty of savings in that as well. It's a great card for a lot of folks. So why am I canceling this card and moving away from Amex as a whole? Well, let's go over some things. The first thing that stands is the annual fee on the Gold Card. And well, annual fees on most Amex cards in general. See, I'm on pace to pay American Express $2,335 this year, just in annual fees. Do I get more value than $2,300? I sure do. But let's not minimize that this cheddar comes out of my pocket. Perks and benefits are great and super, but I'm the head of the household and I need this to make sense financially, not just for me, but for everyone under my roof. Does that make sense? And full disclosure, these fees don't really burden me financially, and the actual dollar amount isn't really important as much as the fact that it is a substantial amount of upfront money to support my travel hobby. Is there a better way to do this that won't cost over $2,000 a year? Well, I think so. And one could argue that the Gold Card isn't $2,300, it's $250. But after canceling the Platinum, do I really need the Gold Card as much? Well, let's see. I've watched a lot of videos on the Gold Card, and some of the more honest reviewers will mention referral bonus points as a reason to keep the card open. Having a YouTube channel with an actual audience could mean several thousand MR points in referrals every year, and that is substantial. And I think if I was getting the maximum referral points from my Gold Card, then yeah, I'd pay the fee and keep it open. Turns out, many of you have the opportunity to use your referral link for a friend or a family member, and you can be rewarded. But American Express took my Gold Card referral link away from me years ago. Why? Well, no one knows. Amex does what Amex wants. I have several Amex cards, and at the moment, the only referral links I have available are for the Blue Business Plus, the Blue Business Cash, and the Hilton Business Card. So no referrals on any personal cards. This isn't something that is talked about a lot, but I wanted to mention it because, well, I'm honest, and it really is a factor for me in canceling this card. What used to be an easy 55,000 Amex MR points has been gone a long time for me. I mean, the way I use MR points, 55,000 is worth thousands of dollars in international business class flights, but it's just not there anymore. Now, I won't spend a ton of time on the credits. The card has 2 different food credits that can potentially add up to $240 yearly, but it's 2 $10 monthly credits that I have to force myself to use and overpay for food I wouldn't otherwise eat. I know most folks easily use these credits because they fit their lifestyles, but I'm tired of coming up with ways to make it seem natural. I value these credits at $100 a year. making the effective annual fee around $150, which is still a bargain for some. So with the Platinum out, do I stay committed to earning American Express MR points? I've earned millions, and it's been my favorite credit card currency for a long time. But no, I think with the Platinum gone, there could be some better alternatives that fit my new style of travel and earning. So what new strategy is this? Well, it's simple. Just give me the points. What do you mean, Luke? I don't care about the fancy hotel program. Save the food credits that I feel obligated to use, even when I don't really want to. Save the high annual fees as well. It's with a heavy heart I say this, but I've been an Amex Trifecta user for years, but I'm moving away from American Express in an effort to simplify everything financially. But Luke, what cards are going to fill those shoes? Specifically, what could ever replace the Gold Card? Well, this is easy. I have 5 alternative cards that I have, well, one that I will have soon, that can at least in part fill the void of the almighty Gold Card for free. Let's go over the cheaper alternatives and we can discuss in the comments if there is any drop off in value. First off is a card that I have received and I've been using lately, the Capital One Saver One. Before I get into the card, it is a cashback card, but with Capital One, if you have a miles earning card, you can convert this cashback, one way of course, to Capital One miles. I just wanted to point that out because I know there are folks that are not interested at all in cashback. The Saver One earns 3 times on groceries, dining, entertainment, and streaming services, as well as 10 times back on Uber and Uber Eats. Here's something I want to mention when we mention the card as a Gold Card alternative. When I was in Panama this week, I purchased food and drinks from a little supermarket across the street from our hotel. I got 3 times back on that. Guess what? The Amex Gold Card is only 4x for US supermarkets. I know that's not an everyday thing, but hey, it is something. If we combine, say, $16,000 spent on groceries and dining in a year, the earnings go from 64,000 MR points to only 48,000 Capital One miles. So there's some loss there, but there is also no $250 annual fee. But let's also remember, I can use the Saver One internationally with no problem. In no way am I saying the Saver One is a better card, but I think there is a comparison. Next up, I have a wild card. Let's talk about the AAA Visa Signature. The card gets 5% cash back on groceries and 3% on gas and EV. Now, I'm not interested in the gas part, so let's focus on groceries because there's no dining bonus. There are 2 things worth mentioning here that make this card a little different from others. The 5% cash back is up to $500 yearly, so that's a $10,000 grocery spend a year cap. That may or may not be enough for you. The next part is a secret. Please don't tell anyone, okay? When using this card, your purchases at a Walmart superstore may code as groceries and earn 5% cash back. It does for me. And yes, I understand cash back isn't the same as travel points, but let's face it, a large percentage of folks aren't getting outsized value for their points anyway, so 5% cash back is likely a better option for a lot of you travelers. Either way, I'm just mentioning this as an option. Now, these 2 are similar, and after that, I will give you a wild card option that could make sense. But first, we have the Discover It card. The Discover It earns 5% cash back on rotating quarterly categories, but let's not forget that in the first year, it earns a cashback match. Meaning in the first year, there will almost certainly be a quarter where you can earn 10% cash back on up to $1,500 spend at grocery stores. Not bad, even if it is for just a quarter. And there is likely going to be a quarter while you will earn the same with dining, like right now. Basically mirroring the Discover It is the Chase Freedom Flex, only this one earns 5 times Ultimate Rewards points. 1 quarter you can earn 5 times on groceries. Now listen, I know none of these are apples to apples comparisons, but I'm trying to convey the fact that the Gold Card isn't the only game in town. Another card that has earned plenty of hype in the last couple of years is the Citi Custom Cash. The Citi Custom Cash earns 5 times Citi Thank You points on your biggest spend category of the billing cycle or month. Simply put, if you use this card for just groceries or just dining, then on up to $500 spend, you earn 5 times Citi thank you points. And guys, that's a high earner. And there's no rules that I know of yet that says you can't have more than one Citi custom cash. In fact, a lot of folks have multiples. I will concede that none of these cards does what the Amex Gold card does, but none of these cards has an annual fee either. I would like to give you an honorable mention with the Citi Premera card. The card earns 3 times thank you points on groceries, dining, and gas, but it also has a $95 annual fee that is not easily mitigated. I wanted to mention it because I'm a big fan of the card at the moment, and although I don't use it as much as my other cards, I think it's worth mentioning, especially for anyone that wants to use it in a setup that includes the Citi Custom Cash. Okay guys, what this looks like for me is this. I'm going to be using the Capital One Saver One primarily for groceries and dining. I occasionally mix in my cashback cards for short periods of time because I think it makes sense for me. When there's an opportunity to earn 5 times Chase UR points, I'm going to do that because, well, I need Chase points. The Citi Custom Cash really doesn't make much sense for me for groceries because we spend quite a bit more than the monthly cap for that one. And I really need to work in a shameless plug. I have referral links for some of these cards in the description below. And if you do use my link, it will directly support the channel and it will allow me to continue to bring you mostly sponsor-free content because I know that's what you prefer. Please mention in the comments below if you think any of those cards could help replace the gold card and make for a simpler, cheaper setup. If you enjoyed the video, slap the like button. And if you've stayed around all the way to the end, I appreciate it and I thank every single one of you.